Hello everybody, this is Intrepid83 and welcome back to Let's Play White Knight Chronicles. Alright, before we head off to Parma, last episode we were treated to our very first couple of verbal tutorials from the game, so huzzah for that. Very nice, interesting also way of implementing tutorials, and like I said, definitely find them to be a bit more effective than just text and pressing a button to advance it kind of thing, so yeah. In any case, so yeah, we learned about skills and skill points and how to learn them, and combat setups and combat lines and all that kind of stuff, how to do that. However, before we even touch that stuff, we have a very important decision to make, and that is where we want to put our skill points. Lyriel and Leonard both come with basic sword skills, so yeah, they both got a short sword, or basically a one-handed sword equipped. So yeah. However, because Lyriel has access to all 8 of the skill trees, we can teach her long swords, axes, spears, bows, staves, whatever we choose. Leonard also comes with a long sword as well, but you can switch any of these over if you want him to learn them. Keep in mind the only weapons, or the weapons that Leonard cannot learn, are spears and staves, so yeah, you can't have him learn those. However, longsword, axe, and bows and swords are good to go for him. So what are the differences between the two? Well, swords are pretty much the most balanced of all of the weapons. Just the most balanced, the most quote-unquote boring of the weapons. They're great for accuracy, great for evasion, and I believe they've also, there's like 3 different, I believe they're the only weapons that actually have 3 different types of weapons that they cover, that skill tree covers. There's daggers, one-handed swords, and cleavers. The difference between one-handed swords and cleavers is that cleavers do have a higher crit rate, but they've got lower durability than regular swords. Daggers, on the other hand, could probably be along the same, used for the same type of character as staves would be, because daggers are really light, and they also boost your magic stat as well, your magic strength. So yeah, something to keep in mind if you want to go a mage route, and so you've got the option of daggers or staves. Staves obviously do boost your magic more, but the daggers have more versatility as far as damage types goes. So yeah, I believe staves are mainly strike damage, but you need to expend MP in order to be able to do slash and piercing damage. Whereas swords, basically you can do all 3 of them without expending MP. So yeah, so yeah, something to keep in mind. Daggers, slightly weaker magic, but got the versatility of the different damage types. The strongest ones are the long swords and the axes. They're also the slowest. With axes, I find being the slowest. Basically, axes are all about throwing everything you got into one swing and doing as much damage as possible at that one swing. Long swords are slow as well, but they are quicker than axes, and they can still do quite a bit of damage. Mages, as I said, staves are good for pure mage. And then you got the daggers as well if you want a bit more versatility for your magic caster. Spears and bows are definitely more specialized. Spears are definitely great for tanking because that skill tree has a lot of vitality and spirit boosts. I believe HP as well, and I believe even I've heard rumor that they benefit a lot from the strength of your attacks, benefit a lot from the vitality and spirit. Personally, I find strength still being the key, the cornerstone of that. But maybe if any of you know more details about how vitality and spirit affect spears, by all means, or any of these weapons, by all means, let me know in the comments. So yeah. Always want to learn more about this kind of stuff in this game. So yeah, bows again are very much specialized in that they are, even though they're kind of like staves in that they only focus on one type of damage, but they do have you can expend MP to be able to do stuff like slash and strike damage with them. Obviously, their main damage type is piercing, where instead of strike with the staves. But yeah, so but bows are excellent at support. They do status ailments and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, they even got abilities where they can basically rain death from above, kind of thing. AoE attacks that strike that come down from above and hit a group of enemies. And yeah, if you've got a paralysis, or there's an ability called Stun Tip, which basically adds the chance of inflicting paralyze on an enemy with it. So if you use that ability on your bow, for a period of time, every attack you do, there's a chance that you'll paralyze the enemy, kind of thing. And if you've got AoEs, well, just keep raining death on the enemy, and they still have a very hard time doing anything to you. So yeah, very good support skill tree. So yeah. As far as there's also something to keep in mind as well, is that the weapons also have weight ratings. For instance, one-handed swords and cleavers are medium weight, daggers are light, long swords and axes are heavy, spears are medium, bows are light, and staves are medium. I've worked it out to where I would say anything light, like a bow, for instance, so this has an attack of 5, I would say add 33% onto that damage, onto that attack strength, and that's basically how much damage you'll do per second. Medium is about 97% of what you see here, so 97% of 7 attack is what to expect as far as your damage per second goes with that weapon. This damage per second is not taking into account like attack speed, so like the longsword, because it's the attacks I find are slightly quicker than axes, could viably have a higher DPS than axes, but I'm just taking that out of that variable out of the equation and just going with what the weapons do to your quote unquote ATB, or whatever what they call the ATB in this game, which we'll find out shortly. So yeah, heavy weapons, I would say 90 multiply the damage you see by 69%. So 69% of 9 is roughly between 6 and 7 attacks. So at the very beginning here, most of the weapons pretty much have do the same amount of damage. The only exception being the yoke and staff, obviously does less physical damage, but it's got the extra boost to your magic strength. So yeah, so definitely something to keep in mind. So yeah, with that out of the way, if you have any questions, please by all means ask them in the comments. I hope I covered everything I needed to there, but if you have any questions, yeah, definitely let me know in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them. Alright, so with that out of the way, we need to decide where we're going to be taking our characters, and, well, I'm actually going to be taking Lariel down the dagger path. So yeah, daggers, they've got the versatility of being able to do all 3 damage types, but also having the, the boosted magic strength. So I'll be taking her down the dagger route. However, the first skill point we're going to be putting into elemental magic. So let's teach her Stone Spear. That could come in handy. If you don't want to choose Stone Spear, I'm basically choosing Stone Spear for a very specific reason later, in the near future. But if you don't feel like doing that, if you want something a bit more useful for the now, I would say either ice, probably say ice and then fire. Wind, everything along in the Ballister Plain right now is resistant to wind, so don't bother with wind right now. So yeah, just fire, ice, or earth if you want it. You'll find out why I chose earth soon enough. But I'll explain why I chose earth soon enough. All right, so that's that. So let's get Leonard here. Let's give him the next. I'm going to be taking him down the one-handed swords route, And yeah, so give him wind up thrust, as that could be useful for him as well in the near future. So there we go. Now, I mentioned about learning skills and then going to edit your combat setup. Well, if you hit R3 when you're here, you get automatically transported to it. So yeah, nice little shortcut they implemented. And yeah, definitely a good idea to use that as much as you can, kind of thing. So yeah, rather than having to back out all the menus and then going into the next one and so on and so forth. Yeah, just nice quick R3 button press and you're good to go with the R3 button press with your right analog stick and you're good to go. So yeah. Alright, now for the commands. Now, as far as command setups go, this is how I usually have the main, or if I'm going to be controlling the character, this is how I usually have it set up. Well, the only reason I'm putting the 3 heals up there is just because, well, the reason why I put everything in the middle line, obviously there's 27, 3 times 7 slots we got to work with. I put these in the middle one so that I can minimize the amount of cursor travel I have to go through to use certain abilities, kind of thing. You just quickly go use the ability and then go right back to doing damage, kind of thing. So yeah, and that's why I usually put the 3 heals up there, just so that no matter what enemy we're facing, no matter what they're weak to, heal is one step away with the cursor. So yeah. And for wind up thrust, let's put that down there. In case you're wondering why I've got thrust in the middle here, just simply because I find it to be the most common weakness of the enemies. So yeah, that's why it's there. I may be right or I may be wrong, but just going by how I feel things were progressing during preparations and all that kind of stuff, or every time I've played it. So yeah. All right, so that's that, and yeah, you got the different stuff here. Now, I'll take care of Lyriel's off screen because we've also got something you see in the bottom there. It gives you all the commands you can use. You got the triangle button. So yeah, you can hit edit. This selects it. This allows you to move the abilities around without removing them. And obviously, triangle removes them outright from the command line. And you got also pressing the select button access command sets, and this stuff. We've got 5. You can have up to 5 command sets ready to go for whenever you want to use them, kind of thing. Now, how I set these up, well, let's save this here. How I set this up, well, I'll take care of that off screen, and I'll take care of Lyriel's command lines as well off screen, and I'll be back to show you the final result. All right, and here we go. So yeah, this is how I usually have them set up. These 3 here obviously are focused damage sets for when I'm not controlling Leonard, and this 5th one is usually what I use to, if I need to change command sets in battle, this is what I usually change to. So with Leonard being the main character I'm controlling right now, if I want to change command sets in battle, I'll change into this one, and I'll be able to swap Leonard, or be able to swap over to Lyriel and do the same thing with her, kind of thing, so that I can make her my primary, kind of thing. Now, one thing you need to keep in mind when you do the command set switch is that the command set you have equipped will replace the command set you're changing into. So yeah, the command set, yeah, basically what I just said, it'll turn the command set that you see, command set E right here, will change into the command set that Leonard currently has equipped when I switch over to it. So yeah. For Lyriel, this is how I have her set up. I've got Stone Spear to the right there instead of below for a specific reason. Mainly because that's where I like to keep my elemental attacks, kind of thing, for her. And the spot below it will touch on in the near future. So yeah, and this is how I have her set up. And yeah, so obviously right now she's got Strike equipped. She's focusing on strike damage. She doesn't have the heal ability, so yeah, her command sets are looking a little bare right now, but they'll fill out eventually. But yeah. So yeah, if I wanted to use Lyriel, I just switch over to her, switch command sets, and then the lunge or the lunging strike or the strike set right now would replace the one that replace command set E, and then command set E right here would become her main command set. So yeah. Alright, so I hope that didn't confuse you too much, but I think I'm all set and ready to go. And, yeah, so... yeah, oh, one more thing we gotta do. Before we leave the logic stone here, we need to unload all of our unnecessary equipment. So let's drop this stuff off and start making our way down towards Parma. Alright, since Lyriel does not have the heal spell, I'm actually going to give her all of the heal potions. So let's give that to her right now. Weapon repairs are basically just items you can use in the field to repair your weapons as you need them. Revival powders are essentially the Phoenix Downs of the game, so yeah. Usually like to have them each character to have at least one of them kind of thing on hand, so yeah. Alright, so there we go. She's got the ability to heal, and yeah, so does he. So yeah. Alright, let's just quickly sort, and we should be good to go. Alright, let's go. Lots of talking, lots of tutorial in this video, but it's got to be done, you know, especially for people that are new to the game.
Uh-oh, I see a monster. By themselves, those guys aren't so tough. But if they gang up on you, watch out. Make sure you know what's around you before you go picking a fight.
Yeah, the enemies on their own...
To attack a monster, move close enough for the target marker to appear. Then press the X button. You'll draw your weapon and switch to combat mode. Press the circle button if you need to exit combat mode.
So yeah, obviously enemies on their own usually aren't too bad to deal with because you're usually dealing with, usually, multiples on one kind of thing. It's just when the enemies start to multiply around you, that's when things can get a little hectic. And that's when the fun happens. And that's actually can, later on in the game, can actually influence how you even approach the beginning of a battle. Like, you see a group of enemies in front of you and you got to figure out how you want to approach, trigger or drawing their aggro kind of thing. So yeah. Some strategy.
To change targets, press the L2 or R2 button. Or, if you want, you can hold the L1 button and use the directional buttons instead.
Yeah, I think it's the one where you hold L1 and then use the directional pad to select your target, which target to lock onto. But I believe it's limited to the enemies that are in front of you on the screen. So, yeah. Either one of those that does that.
Once the action gauge in the command circle fills up, you can use the skills you installed in the command slots at the bottom of the screen. Use the left and right directional buttons to make a selection, or use the up and down directional buttons to switch to a different command line. Once you've chosen a skill, press the X button to confirm your selection.
So yeah, the command circle is essentially the
Some
ATB.
skills will use up MP or action chips. Your action chips refill when you attack enemies or get hit by attacks.
Yeah, action chips refill at a rate of about 4 to 1. So 4 attacks will give you 1 action chip. 4 attacks of you or you being hit as well. So yeah, incoming attacks also affect your action chip regeneration. So yeah.
Our HP and MP are shown in the upper right corner of the screen. The border of the screen will turn red if HP gets low, so keep your eyes peeled, okay? If somebody's HP drops all the way to 0, they will fall in battle. Be sure to use items like heal potions or magic like heal to keep everybody in good shape. If you'd like to know more, press the triangle button to open the main menu, then choose Travelogue, then Help.
Yeah, your travel log will update from time to time as you progress through the game, so it might be worth it to take a look at every so often to see if anything's new. Like I said, taking a look in there is usually a good idea if you're new to the game to learn some stuff. It's
Make sure you keep up.
Like, if you're enjoying how they did the tutorials in this game so far, hopefully that'll help it make it easier for you to decide to take a dive into the travelogue. But yeah, definitely some useful information there, like status effects, what they do, treasure chest right here with a chromium pearl level 1, I can help us later on. But yeah, it's the only treasure I'm going to get on the way down to Parma. So yeah, everything else, well, we've got to get this wine to the castle. So yeah, before we worry about anything else. So yeah. But yeah, there's 3 types of enemies we can run into right now. The Pulkins, the Kibbles, and the Poison Vespids. The Pulkins are probably the least aggressive. They're weak to slash, resistant to strike, neutral to piercing, weak to fire, and resistant to wind. Everything here is resistant to wind. And here's the Giant Vespid. Giant Vespids are weak to piercing, resistant to slash, and weak to ice. So yeah, and resistant to wind, the usual. The Kibbles are the red guys. So yeah, the Pulkins are the yellow guys, and the Kibbles are those guys. Kibbles, sometimes they're definitely more aggressive than the Pulkins, but not nearly as aggressive as the Vespids. It's just North Bellander Castle and South Parma. Yeah, okay. So yeah, Kibble are weak to strike, but resistant to piercing, and they're weak to fire. So yeah, Kibbles also, they can put you to sleep as well, but sleep isn't too much to worry about because as soon as you get hit, it wakes you up. So yeah, it's one of those sleep status effects. But yeah, if you head over here, speak to the captain here. The other day, we had reports of a suspicious party lurking in the area ahead. We dispatched investigators to the scene to gather evidence and talk to witnesses. You know, we normally wouldn't go to all that trouble, but with the upcoming, the princess's ball, I can't let through. Well, we can't let you through. I'm sorry now, if you'll excuse me. Yeah, okay, so yeah. That's part of the reason why I'm not going out of my way for all the treasure, because the southeast part of the map is completely closed off to us right now. So yeah. We'll have to figure out how we're going to do that later. But yeah, hit R2 and you can bring up the map. And you can usually find your waypoint on there as well. So yeah, that flashing star in B7 there. Another beautiful implementation of the map here is the coordinate system there. Really helps out with the treasure hunting and harvest points. If you ever see anything like this with the glittery stuff around it, that's a harvest point. So yeah. Makes it really helps out with the treasure hunting and harvesting. At least as far as note making goes. So yeah. So yeah, like I said, poison vespids are usually the most aggressive along here. Sometimes the Kibbles will join in the fun if you happen to be around fighting a Vespid nearby and they decide they want to take aggression against you. Sometimes they'll do that. But again, like I said, Pulkins are probably the least aggressive of the 3 enemies. So yeah. Alright, well, we're here. I put you through a lot of talking and tutorials and all that, a lot of information. Let's get some story in, at least. So let's head into town. Head into the village. Yes. Parma village. And I may be wrong, but I do not believe anybody in this village is named Sean.
Here we are. Welcome to Parma.
Hey, you're on time for once.
Yuli!
Have you been there, Leonard? Oh, you must be the new girl. Rapachi told me you were coming. Glad you could make it. The wine's all set to go. Follow me.
Glad to hear it. All right. Well, explaining I did. I'd hope it'd be ready. So, equipment wear and tear. Yeah, that's another thing you got to keep an eye on as well. Since we did do some fighting on the way down here. Not much, but we did. You can see here with the icon of the short sword and then the short sword beside it, but there's also another bar, a vertical bar between the two. The short sword's a bit off color from the armor here. That's your wear bar. So yeah, it's as that depletes, it'll turn red when it gets to critical, and then when it breaks, it chops its effectiveness in half. So weapons lose half their attack strength, and armor loses half of their defense ability. So yeah, if they break. So just keep an eye on that stuff. Generally, I don't have too much of an issue with it, but other than maybe the stuff like cleavers, like I said, they've got a lower durability than regular swords, but for the most part, we shouldn't have too much issue with it. And repairs aren't that expensive as long as, you use the weapons well. I believe the minimum cost to repair a weapon or armor piece of equipment is 10. I'll just say it now. The currency in this game is called Gilder. So yeah, 10 Gilder is the minimum amount of money to repair a piece of equipment. So yeah. So the deeper you can take the wear into, you can go into the wear in a piece of equipment, the better for repairing. So yeah. All right. So the wine's ready. So let's
Parma's famous for
let's go get it. That way we can be ready to head back to Ballandor next time.
You must be kidding.
Don't let his looks fool you. He's a big old pussycat. Now where? Rouse said he'd be here.
Who?
Your driver. Rouse is the only one who can get this fella to pull the Wayne. It won't move a step, not without Rouse's say-so. Sit tight. I'll see if I can find him.
Well, yes.
Yuli!
Sir. Luck had to run out at some point, but great. Wine's ready, but the driver is nowhere to be found. But anyways, wow, that is a lot of wine. Yeah, we're gonna need you, buddy. I don't know what she's talking about. Pussycat. This guy looks more like a dog to me, but puppy dog. There we go. Oh well. All right, looks like we better help Yuli. Yeah, if we're gonna get out of here in any amount of time, we better help her out and look for this Rouse guy. And I guess we'll have to take care of that next time. And hopefully, we can get back to Ballandor before nightfall, and basically to make sure that Leonard has a nice, long, and happy life ahead of him. Well. Yeah, happy life ahead of him. So yeah, and not having Rapachi have to go to jail because he murdered somebody. So yeah, murdered him. But anyways, so yeah, we'll help Yuli look for Rouse next time, and hopefully we can leave Parma and head back to Ballandor and get this delivery out of the way. This is Intrepid83 signing off. Take care, be blessed. Consider hitting the like button on your way out if you enjoyed the video. Also consider subscribing as well. Hit the dislike button if you dislike the video for any reason. And for those who return, we'll see you in the next one. Take care, be blessed. Thank you all so very much for watching, and have a good one. Okay, just wanted to see if we did get the automatic heal animation, but we didn't.